Hello. Um, this is an introduction to Lesson 17, which is going to be a project of you creating an interactive card. So I'm going to go through all of the steps that are in code.org, and you're going to be watching this in a Nearpod video. So I will have some questions along the way for you to answer as we go about this. So in level 1, it tells us that we are going to be creating a card. So I will have we're going to go over the rubric and we're going to go over the project guide. So this is a culminating project for chapter 1, and you are going to plan for and develop an interactive greeting card using all of the programming techniques we've learned so far to this point. So the first thing we're going to do here is look at an example card. So in this card, we see that someone is making a happy birthday card. There are directions here that says move the mouse to shake your present, keep shaking to see your prize. So I'm going to move my mouse, excuse me. And then it looks like I'm getting a dog and a bike for a birthday present. So there are some things that we need to talk about here that are going to need to be present in your card. So, first of all, it has nice directions here so that we know how to interact with the card. So when you send it to a person, they're going to know how to interact with it. So let's go ahead and reset and run this again. So it looks like I'm going to be using my mouse as an input. And then it looks like once I shake my mouse a certain number of times, other elements are going to pop up. So my dog is moving at a random number. And it looks like my bike is using a counter pattern because it's a smooth circle being created. So this would be the rotation property of my bike that's being updated. And this looks like it's probably the X and the Y property of my dog using random numbers that's making it bounce up and down. I have some text on my screen, and my balloons are being made by using a line and a ellipse. So let's run through these real fast. Which elements appear to use the drawing command? So we just talked about that, either a rectangle or a line and an ellipse. Which elements appear to be sprites? My present box, and then my doggy and my bike. For each sprite, which properties are being updated? So when we're shaking it, again, that looks like it's going to be, that looks like it's probably the rotation of the box. And then the dog is the X and Y properties. And for the bike, it's also the rotation using the counter pattern. So conditionals being used, again, is going to be if my mouse is moving, change the box. And then also I'm probably going to have some sort of a counter variable here. So once counter reaches 25, make box disappear and have these two guys pop up. And then if there's anything that you still don't understand, it would be a good time to maybe send me an email or make a note of it so that we can talk about that. All right. So then there are also three. Well, we already looked at the happy birthday one, but there's two more examples here that you could look at as well. And actually, we'll look at the happy birthday one because on the happy birthday one, we can see all of the different code. So remember, to have this code help you create yours. So look at how this works, right? So I have my surprise one is not visible to begin with. So we can see that if our mouse is moving, here we are changing the rotation, and we're using a counter pattern with our shake count. So we've initialized a variable up here called shake count and set it equal to 0. So every time that my mouse moves, I increase that by 1. So then we can look down here and see if our shake count is greater than 100, so we had to move our mouse 100 times, and once that's true, do these 4 items here. Okay, so you can use this to help you understand how to make certain elements work on your card. Okay, so with that said, your card, how do I get back here? So these are some examples of cards. So we've got a happy birthday card, a thank you card. I'm not sure exactly what this one is, but your card is, you are going to send this card to someone specific in your life that you would like to say thank you to, that you just, because we're in such awkward times, someone that maybe you haven't had a chance to see at school that you normally see and you haven't seen them. So you want to send them a nice little card. So you are actually going to be designing this for someone specific in mind and sending it to them. Okay. So we've just been over an example to help you understand what should be in your card. The next levels 4 through 8 are again going to chunk this into smaller sections for you so that you should not be creating your entire card in one level. So in level 4, lay out your background. Do this. So here are the directions for specifically walking you through how should I do this. In level 5, you should probably be adding your sprites. In level 6, you are going to be talking about user input. So do I want to use keys? Do I want to use the mouse? What do I want to do? In level 7, you're probably going to be adding conditionals. And in level 8, you're going to be putting in finishing touches. So do you want any more text, any more additional images, and basically reviewing your work and making sure that it actually all works. The rubric for this project that I will be grading you on, because this is the end of the unit project, this is going to be worth a little bit more points than our other mini projects. And you can see that our rubric is a little bit more extensive. So our modularity, you need to have multiple, I'm only going to go over the extensive evidence because this is my high expectation for us to have. So you need to have multiple sprites with multiple properties updated in the draw loop. So that means you should not just be updating the X property of a sprite, you should be updating the X, the Y, the rotation, the scale, multiple properties, and have multiple sprites. Algorithm and control structures. So your program needs to respond to multiple types of user input and uses at least one random number. So multiple types of user input means that you need to have maybe something with your mouse moving and something with your keys going up and down. And we all know what a random number is. So you need to use a random number at least once. Also in algorithm and control structures, your program is well sequenced and properly separates code in and out of the draw loop. So remember, if we go back to our example of the happy birthday card, properly structured means like I'm creating all of my variables on the outside of my draw loop. I'm only using draw sprites one time. So if you are using draw sprites 18 different times, that is not properly sequenced. You only have to draw sprites once. So this is all very nice, neat, and organized. They are also using nice comments. So you can use comments as well to help you chunk and separate and sequence your code. All right. Also in algorithm and control structures, you are using multiple conditionals inside the draw loop, at least one of which is triggered by a variable or a sprite property. So again, we have, in this example, there are two conditionals, and one is triggered by a variable or a sprite property. So that's an example of you being triggered by a variable or a sprite property. And we have multiple elements on the screen that are moving in different ways. This has been part of a rubric for each of our mini projects. And then we also have multiple variables being used and updated during the program. And at least one variable or property uses the counter pattern. So again, if we go back to our happy birthday, this is using the counter pattern twice, I believe, with shake count. So line 27 is the counter pattern. And then our bike rotation is also using the counter pattern in line 37. Okay, so all of this is to help you be successful on your project. So I will be asking you now on your project to do some sprite planning. So this part where you sketch your idea and then put in your what you want your sprites to be, I will ask you to do this at the end of this Nearpod video. We will have 3 days to complete this in class. So this will be due at the end of class on Friday. Good luck.